Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour proudly present the season-long race to the CME Globe. From Sylvania, Ohio, it's third-round coverage of the Marathon Classic presented by Owens Corning and OI. Just to the south of us, downtown Toledo, the Toledo Skyway Bridge spanning the Maumee River. And Colonel James M. Schoonmaker, when it was christened back in the early 1900s, was known as the Queen of the Lakes. Who's going to be the Queen of Highland Meadows this week? The defending champion is I.K. Kim, and so Monroe Street is renamed for her this week, as is the tradition here at the Marathon. Third round coverage. Grant Boone and Judy Rankin watching some of the folks filing in from all over northwest Ohio and southern Michigan. We're just about 3 miles south of the Michigan-Ohio border. Some of the action from earlier here in day 3. It's going to be a big week next week in Kentucky, playing on the PGA Tour for Brittany Lincecum. But Judy, she's trying to make a run here today.
Second hole, par 3, elevated tee, 158 yards.
She would roll that in for birdie to get to 7 under. She began the day 3 shots back. What a story we have brewing here. The NCAA champion from Wake Forest back in May, Jennifer Kupcho, not only made the cut, Judy, on this par 5 17th, she's making a run at the lead.
Yeah, second shot at the par 5, just right in front of the green. Beautiful shot right there.
That would take her to 8 under par if she could make it. Only about 3.5 feet.
It's a very good-looking stroke.
Crowd loves it. And Kupcho to 8 under par, a 66 for her. Brooke Henderson began the day tied for the lead with Caroline Headwall at 9 under. Her tee shot at the 6th.
She hits the ball very high.
And they're very straight. She would roll that in to get to 10 under and take the lead. Then for birdie at the 7th from just off the front of the green. Henderson to 11 under par. Her lead at that point was 3. But at the 9th, which has been moved up today, this par 4, Brittany Lincecum for birdie. Right, so Lincecum moves with that to 9 under par. She gets within a couple. Angela Stanford, the 40-year-old American Solheim Cup star. This for birdie at the 15th.
She keeps flirting with it this year. She gets herself in position and then can't quite close the deal, but if you get there often enough, look out.
Had a great chance to win at the Meijer just a few weeks ago. Henderson now with a 2-shot lead. I.K. Kim, the defending champion, saw her name up on the street sign. She's in the tie for 3rd place. Austin Ernst is posted 67. Mel Reed with a 65. She's got a lot to play for, not just this week. We'll tell you about that as we go along today. And Ji Chun has given up a shot. Judy and I are joined by Jim Gallagher Jr. And on the course, Karen Stupples and Gail Graham. They're at the 10th hole. And Karen Stupples watching Brooke Henderson.
And she really short-sighted herself. Doesn't have hardly any green to work with. Oh, good shot.
All right, while we have a moment, let's meet our final 2 pairings in their own words.
Hey y'all, my name is Emma Talley. I'm from Princeton, Kentucky, and I went to the University of Alabama. Roll Tide!
Hi, I'm Thirapha Suwarnapura from Bangkok, Thailand. I won the 2013 Hero Women Indians Open.
Hi, I'm Brooke Henderson from Ontario, Canada. I won my first major when I was 18.
My name is Caroline Headwall. I'm from Stockholm, Sweden, and my rookie year on tour was 2011.
Caroline Headwall is an accomplished player on the LET, multiple winner, and she was a Solheim Cup stalwart for the European side, looking for her first victory. There you see that A in parentheses next to the name Jennifer Kupcho. Amateurs winning on the LPGA Tour are a rarity. to the 13th. We say hello to Jim.
Hello. Brittany Lincecum second here at the 13th, Gail.
Just from 86 yards.
Should spin. Oh.
For a player who hits at a mile, she's got a great feel with these kind of shots.
Yeah, she absolutely does. Greens yesterday afternoon got a little firmer, but a little softer still right now. Over to 16.
And Angela Stanford with a birdie putt to get within 1 of Brooke Henderson.
She has, over the year, really played some good rounds of golf and given herself some chances. But as I said a few minutes ago, hasn't closed the deal. It would not surprise me, though, if she does it one of these weeks. I think she's having a little bit more fun playing golf than she's had in a long time.
She'll have that tap in. She tries to clear her throat. Three birdies in her last 5 holes. She is alone in second place. And we have the par putt for Brooke Henderson to stay in front by 2.
Still using the same putter that she put into play at the KPMG Women's PGA. Very easy, simple save there.
So Henderson at 11 under par leads Angela Stanford by 2. Welcome to day 3 of the marathon at Highland Meadows. Judy, Brooke Henderson's not even going to turn 21 until September. It seems like she's been out here forever. Now she's got a 2-shot lead with a chance to win for a second time this year.
Yeah, she's a very young, very experienced player. Not only experienced at playing the game, but experienced now at winning on the LPGA Tour. I think her footsteps are pretty big and pretty loud on a leaderboard.
Looking for her 7th victory in her very young career. Se-Young Kim got her 7th in a very short time last week in record fashion. Here she is on the tee at the 11th. We're going to get a chance to see this powerful yet accurate swing.
She's so athletic, and that's exactly why she's able to get so much out of it. There is out of bounds on the right. It is a blind tee shot. You have to pick a target on the tree line in the distance, and that's going to be pretty perfect and long.
When you're a great field player and you know exactly what that golf ball felt like on the club face, and you don't even have to watch where it goes. Did you notice that?
I did, and
yeah.
She went to the tee quickly. So you've got Angela Stanford at age 40 in second place, tied for third, Judy. The young Jennifer Kupcho. She won the NCAA championship individually back in May, and she has a chance to do something that very few have done.
Yeah, for an amateur to win on any professional tour, but on this professional tour, is a very rare thing. I think you called it rarefied air, as I remember. And it hasn't happened for a very long time, and it's a monumental achievement. So, you know, that might be in play tomorrow.
Tied for third at the moment. When she finished up her third round of 66, she spoke with Karen Stupples.
We're becoming quite accustomed to seeing you now, talking to us for putting in some great rounds of golf here at Highland Meadows. Has this exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, it's been a great week. It's fun to be around all the pros and just have all these fans out here watching us. It's just a great experience for my first LPGA event.
And a little off-the-wall question for you for tomorrow. Should you win and should you take home that prize, have you thought about what your future might be and how it might change?
I'm trying not to think about that, just go play my own game. I'll come to that decision when I need to, if I need to.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So how rarefied is the air? Well, you consider Lydia Ko won as an amateur a couple of times, but no one had done it for almost 50 years since the great Joanne Carner at the Burdines Invitational, which was the first event of 1969.
Yeah, I was there when Joanne Carner won as an amateur. She did not turn professional until she was 30 years old. She was the great Gundy, turned into what everyone knows now as Big Mama, but what an extraordinary player. And I was also at the 67 U.S. Women's Open when Catherine Lacoste had that big victory.
By the way, Joanne Carner shot her age on Thursday in round 1 of the U.S. Senior Women's Open. 13.
Yeah, let's go for Burrow. She pulled that, Gail.
Yeah, it looked like she thought it was going to break a little bit more than it really should have. But
yeah.
definite pull.
Yeah, that location kind of, I've seen some putts there today. Everybody's kind of overplayed the break, but that was more of a mechanical break down there. But still at 8 under, just 3 shots back. Brooke Henderson with a 2-shot lead. We'll be back to the Marathon Classic.
Today's coverage is brought to you by Marathon, fueling the American spirit. CME Group, how the world advances. And by Win Grips, the best grips in golf.
Back to the 11th hole. Brooke Henderson's second shot here at the par 4.
She's got 139 to the hole. Got a good lie in the fairway. Hardly any wind at the moment. The ideal spot is short and right of this whole location to leave a putt straight up at it.
Yeah, it's right on the little bitty plateau. She's carried that a little too far.
And that's going to leave a fast putt.
Lexi Thompson now for birdie at 17 to get to -6. Just even on the day. That's a solid stroke. There you go.
Not a bad comeback for her today. Rough start.
No, exactly. She had the ball going a little sideways early on, but fighting her way back with a nice birdie there. A couple birdies on the back 9. 14.
And it is Brittany Lincecum. Gail Graham is there.
This hole playing 151 today. A little bit of a breeze at her. Looks like she tried to hit that in a little too hard. Left it out to the right.
She has a habit with that very short backswing of getting a little bit quick, and she doesn't finish that little short backswing. And if she doesn't get the club set, she knows it early on.
Any hole-in-one at the 14th will win the player a 2018 Camaro LT, compliments of the Northwest Ohio Chevy dealers. Back to our final pairing.
Yeah, Caroline Headwell's second here at the 11th.
And finally a healthy Caroline Headwell. Her wrist now is fully healed. This one just a few yards less than Brooke. Starting a bit left, trying to fade towards the hole.
Solid shot. Said injury prone. Had to have a top 10 since 2016. IK Kim now for birdie here at the 15th. Ought to go a little to her left early. Just to get to -9 within 2.
And she's 2 under for the day.
Some pretty good birdies the last few holes. That's just a pull. Sometimes you're going up those hills, you try to hit it a little harder.
Time for our Volunteers of America tournament summary. 33rd playing in the Marathon Classic with a win. IK Kim would join Sayri Pak as the only back-to-back champions. IK was 21 under par with that 63 on Sunday last year. Through 2 rounds, 6 players in the top 10 searching for their first victory on the LPGA Tour, including Caroline Hedwall, one of the co-leaders. And Hedwall has 5 wins on the LET. She won 4 times in 2011 on the Ladies European Tour. That's our Volunteers of America tournament summary. The penultimate pairing includes Emma Talley, and Emma is 7 under. A birdie and a bogey today. This is at the 12th.
Yeah, if you're just even par,
Gosh, dang it.
you're just kind of going backwards in this field.
Second shot for Lincecum at 14.
Pretty straightforward chip. A little downhill.
She'll have to be really good, won't she, next week on the PGA Tour, around the green and with the putter.
Well, she will. She's got the length to play with those fellas, I believe, and if she can get the putter going, she might do pretty well. She talks about being patient. She needs to be a tad more patient with her golf swing.
Really fast after that drop off.
Brooke Henderson now for birdie. She's talking about how fast this putt is, Karen.
It is very slippery and it's going to break to the left, but Brooke paces her putts off, so she knows, and she uses it to judge the speed. And I would say that if you're pacing this one, you could probably take 2 steps off for the speed as opposed to what it would be on a flat putt. I also like the idea that her sister Brittany is holding the flag. I think it really gives a player a better visual sometimes for where the actual hole is.
Yeah, they do that a lot.
Seen Sevi do it from about 10 feet, so that was a good read, Karen. That's all you're trying to do is nestle it down there and make 4. Made the mistake of hitting it a little bit by from the fairway. Over to 14.
All right, Gail, we have seen Celine Herbin this summer play some good golf, trying to put it together for an entire week. This for birdie.
And this just about 10 feet from the opposite side of the hole that Britt chipped from. Should be fairly straight.
#100th on the money list on the nose. If you finish 100th or better, then your exempt status is better than if you finish outside the top 100.
Hedwall now for her birdie. Should have got a good read off that putt from Brooke.
She really should, but even this range from this angle, it's no give me. It's not an easy putt.
Concerned with the speed. Sometimes you don't hit it solid enough. Pretty quick backstroke there, Judy. That happens when you're trying to just kind of get it down there. A little nervy putt there.
Lincecum for par at 14.
No problem there. She'll have her fair share of those next week for sure. She's got some pretty steady nerves with them, though.
Keene Trace is the golf course just outside Lexington, Kentucky. The Barbasol Championship to 15.
Yeah, Christina Kim's second here at the 15th. Currently -7. Trying to play her way into the women's British top 5 qualifiers. Have to be a member, but that's going to help. That's always a good kick. You usually have to call bounce, but she's not going to complain.
Pretty good right there.
That's yeah. And now Brooke Henderson still with that 2-shot lead as she'll go over to the 12th Marathon Classic. We'll be right back.
the leader by 2, Brooke Henderson on the tee at the 12th.
Really important to keep this drive down the left side. Hole location tucked on the right. And if you're too far right, trees come into play. This one is drawing and it should be perfect.
Boy, she is a really good driver and a long driver with a very long driver.
And uses driver more than most, doesn't
Yep.
she? 15.
Christina Kim for birdie got that great kick off the slope on the left. 1 under on her round today. Oh, wow, that went. I agree. That ball's supposed to go left. Wow. Some things you just can't control, and that's one of those.
Given where that second shot was headed,
She's going to take for it, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Relative. Our defending champion,
Number 1.
you get a look at the downhill nature of this second shot because you can barely see the top of the flag here.
You can twist it.
Well, and IK is about 5'2", so she can
She
barely
often can't see
the
bottom
top
of the flag,
and she's playing from the rough here.
Stood tall last year on Sunday. Came from 2 back, shot 63. 1 going away. Well, that took all the fire out of it, didn't it?
Who needs to see where you're going?
Trust us, IK, it's really good. You're going to like this when you see it. That'll be to get to 9 under.
Angela Stanford for birdie at 17. Needs to break left. Oh, it did not. We're seeing some putts, pretty good putts that aren't going in. 2 good chances on the last 2 holes. 5 under on her round today. 2 shots back as she goes to par 5 18th.
Good round for Stanford, as you see. 2 shots back of Brooke Henderson. Let's take a look at our course setup. Brought to you by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. Highland Meadows, Judy.
Yeah, par 71, 3 par 5s on the golf course, 1 on the front and 2 on the back, 2 that finish the golf course, 17 and 18. The fairways and the greens are in beautiful condition, getting firmer though as the days go on, and certainly the afternoon players, the first 2 rounds, really said it was very different when you played afternoon versus morning.
Brittany Lincecum second here at the 15th.
From quite a ways back, she
say.
flared her tee shot way out to the right, hit the biggest tree possible, and it kicked into the fairway. So fairway in regulation.
Definitely grip.
She's left herself with 183 to the hole, though.
I know. Both left to right. I think you got to grip at the line. But the wind is left to right. We agreed to 60. Okay. Right. And just right of the bunker? I like that.
Conversation with Missy, a little disagreement about which way the wind was going.
It doesn't look like there's a whole lot.
There's really not enough to affect it. With her shot pattern from right to left, there should be no problem trying to attack this flag. And she's left her last 3 shots out to the right.
This one's probably not, stays down in that first cut, but that's going to be a tough chip shot going over the slopes. A little bit of movement on this green to 12.
And our leader, Brooke Henderson.
So I see like 125. Yeah. So yeah, a little bit. Just right at it. I was going a little bit. Okay.
She's got 132 to the hole. There was a slight bit of breeze helping. There's a short side if she goes a little long, a little right of it. This is a 9-iron, but this is right in Brooke's wheelhouse.
Third on tour in greens in regulation. She's having another great week in hitting greens this week, leading the field through 2 days. Take a look. Jin Young Ko, who is technically a rookie this season, first full year on the LPGA Tour. Lexi Thompson, as usual, up near the top. Anna Nordquist, a breakout year for Annie Park this year.
Yeah, finally enjoyed her first win just a few weeks ago.
And Caroline Headwall looking for a good shot here.
When she started to hit a driver again, she couldn't use one for a long time. Was actually just using a strong 3-wood just because of the trouble that she was having releasing it with her wrist. She had a ganglion that was stopping any kind of movement, but healthy now and using that driver to full effect.
That one was right over the top of the flag, but she's off the back of the green. A couple over today. Brooke Henderson a couple under, and she leads by 2. At the 16th, defending champion IK Kim to get within 2 of the lead. Missed opportunity. She stays at -8.
Brittany Lincecum's third here at the 15th. 44th in scrambling, Gail. This is a tricky little up and down.
It is, because it's like a roller coaster. It goes downhill, uphill, and then the last 10 feet are downhill again.
I love how far she's got it back. A little bit of a drag chip. Going to get it on the ground. She went up in the air with it a little more than I
Well,
thought.
she likes to chip with the high lofted wedge, no matter what shot it is.
Well, that's what you have to do when you use more loft. Is you almost turn that into a pitching wedge, actually. But that high loft gets it in the air earlier. Good shot. Emma Talley for birdie here at 13. Hit the -8. Last 2 weekends, 133rd or 133 in scores. So 3rd place last week at Thornberry. So a couple birdies on the back 9 after that bogey at the par 5 7th. Gets back to 8, 3 back. Birdie 12.
And Brooke Henderson lining up a putt for birdie, Karen.
She is, and I remember watching her at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship on that final round. She struggled with this club, and there was some speculation as to whether she would change it out, knowing that she does like to change putters, but it is still here and seems to be rolling it quite nicely. This is not an easy putt though. Distance aside, just at the hole it's got a very subtle break to the left. Caroline Headwell has just tapped in for her par, got up and down from over the back of the green.
12's a good hole to make par on. It's playing over par for the week. 2nd toughest today, 3rd toughest hole for the week. And the severity of the green that Karen mentioned, likely a big reason for that. Move ahead to the 18th, where we find Lexi Thompson. And she's got this for par. Hit her third shot into the bunker.
She has to really be frustrated with what's gone on with her golf game this season.
A couple of times in contention, but coming down the stretch last few holes on a Sunday hasn't really happened for her this year. This was a year when you and a lot of people really thought would be a breakout season.
Back to 15. Let's come now for par. Get some
not
time
long
on here.
though. She's taken a long time looking at this. Both she and Missy both looking at it. I think oh, she's got a ball that won't sit in the original spot.
You got to get it back to where it will. But you try to get it back to that spot, and if it won't, good view there of the ball. Ooh, snuck it in the left corner. That's good up and down. It's not the easiest to judge how it comes out of that little, even though it's the first cut of fringe. CME Globe standings projected to move up to 12th. That's currently where she is. She'll head over to the 16th. 13th, Brooke Henderson, little dog leg left here, Karen.
It is and a very aggressive play by Brooke with the driver, and I shouldn't be really surprised to see this. She does like to do that. She does have a tendency to aim right and try and pull it left. If she pulls this left too much, these trees can come into play.
Yeah, she's 5th in total driving, so I see why she likes to hit that club.
But this is good.
Oh, real good. Well, when
She'll have nothing left.
Yeah, when you drive it with the length and the accuracy, it's a good combo right there. Over to 16.
And the first full year on the LPGA Tour for Caroline English. She's had an 11th place finish in Phoenix, a 10th in LA. Playing well this week. Her approach to the downhill 16th.
Excellent.
She's tied for 9th, 4 shots off the lead. Par 3, 14th. Tidapa Suwanapura. With a Camaro at stake for an ace. Need a little more gas.
People in the stands would like to see it given away.
To them.
Well, I don't think they can manage that.
I agree. Henderson leads it by 2.
I shouldn't let the moment pass without asking you what your favorite movie is.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That's a good one. Stewie, what about you?
I'm almost embarrassed to say because I'm kind of a chick flick guy.
Yeah?
So Love Actually is my top.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I said I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing I don't really like to share out in the open too much.
I can go even more embarrassing. Mine is the original Jungle Book, 1968.
That's a good one, though.
Get all the bare necessities with an all-new Faraday. 2009 Open champion Stuart Sink and the always entertaining Paul Goydos. Monday, 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Golf Channel. Caroline Inglis, native of Eugene, Oregon, played at the University of Oregon. This to get to 8 under and join the group tied for 3rd. All right, first full year out here. She had some status but didn't play any events last year. This is nice.
She's playing right now like she's been in this spot a lot.
So is Jennifer Kupcho, the reigning NCAA champion. Here's Tadapa Suwanapura, this to get to 7 under. Judy, we talked about the opportunity at stake this week for so many players like Suwanapura, like Caroline Inglis. What a win would mean. Every win is precious, obviously.
It does seem to be a unique leaderboard in time for someone who hasn't won before to really be in the mix or make it happen.
Gail Brittany Lincecum has won plenty, including this year. Here she is at 16.
132 to the hole. It's just a wedge and a beauty.
This has to give her confidence going into next week playing with the men on the PGA Tour. 8 wins, a couple of majors.
Brooke Henderson second here at the 13th.
Yeah, 74. 68 shot.
Just 70 yards left for Brooke. I think if I had to pick a range for her, it would be this yardage. She's good from inside of this, but I think this is ideal for her. She's going to be able to spin it. There is a little slope left of the hole, so ideally anything just a bit right of this hole location will leave her the best opportunity for a birdie putt.
Yeah, she's lined up just a little bit to the left.
Although if you're Brooke, she might be thinking about holing it.
Okay, like you said, if it's going to hold, that's going to be not as much break to that putt as some of the players I watched earlier. Little over break there. To 18.
Angela Stanford alone in second place. Her 3rd shot at this par 5.
Did not birdie 17. And leaves herself a little bit of work to try and birdie 18.
Hasn't won since 2012 as we go to the 17th.
Yeah, IK Kim's 3rd here at 17-hole location on that back left portion. Currently 8 under. Good rhythm to that. Should spin. It does. And an eagle here. Yanni Sen made eagle earlier today. The only eagle of the week here at 17. IK Kim, of course, is defending. There's our recent past champions. Lydia Koch a couple times. Of course, that playoff win 2016. Chilla Choi. Pretty good list of champions here. And this tournament is always supported big time by this community. They love ladies golf here, and they love golf in the Midwest. And this is a perfect example. 16.
Celine Herbin with her 2nd shot, Gail.
Just 119 to the hole. Really great line.
Oh, I'll say.
Great shot.
To the 18th, playing with Angela Stanford, is Mina Haragai, 3rd shot at this par 5.
This is a great story, Mina Haragai, this week. She's been thinking way too much. Her caddy said, I'm going to go do the work on the golf course. You're not going to go on the golf course. and they teed off in the tournament without her having been out on the golf course. And
How about it?
They have found something that works. I'm really happy to see her play so well.
Tremendous amateur career, and she's going to be out on the golf course tomorrow with a chance to win.
Absolutely. Brooke Henderson, chance for birdie here at the 13th to get to 12 under, Karen.
It is, and it's one of those putts that is, you know, she can be aggressive, slightly uphill, but it will have just a hair of right turn in it. She's just far enough left of the slope in the green for it not to influence it too much.
Yeah, to match up that speed with the real easy to open that putter face and lose it out to the right. But this is a tricky read. I've watched several players this morning miss this high, thinking it broke more than it did.
She has a tendency to come out of these a bit too quickly, like a little poppy stroke. If she gets the putter moving through, you'll typically see the ball fall in the hole for her.
Yeah, sometimes get away from that, even hold that finish, just that last split second. Keep your eyes focused on the ball till the putter gets there. Keeps
That
you
was
steady.
always Seve's key thought. Hold the follow through.
That just started right. IK Kim now for birdie at 17. What a good wedge shot she hit in here. Gets to -9, just 2 back. Had a couple good opportunities the last couple holes, but takes advantage of that. Has the par 5. 18th to play yet.
You are so good with this distance.
Just 2 shots back of Brooke. Up to 18.
And we saw the third from Angela Stanford, this to get to 10 under.
Yes.
How about it? She shot 2 over in her opening round, 73, and back-to-back 65s.
Well, very impressive, but back in the spring she shot around a 63. She has had something going on this year.
Emma Talley's second shot here at 15 out of the rough. Good shot there. It's hard to judge what it's going to do. This green's always a little firmer than else. She's got a little bit of a bad break there. That wasn't that bad a shot. Falls down that valley. Saw a lot of shots do that yesterday. This green actually goes away. The last 2/3 of it goes away to the back. So pay the price for hitting it in the rough.
All right, as Brooke Henderson has just a couple of feet left for her par, let's take a look at our Consumer Cellular worth talking about. And you see that only Brooke and Se-Young Kim on the LPGA Tour have won in each of the last 4 seasons. It's a little bit surprising, isn't it? Because you think of Aria. Well, Aria didn't win in 2015. Lexi, but Lexi hasn't won this year.
Yeah, it is surprising that it's just these two when you think of the handful of players at the very top of the game.
NB didn't win an official event in 2016, NB Park. She did win the gold medal, of course, the Rio Olympics.
Yeah, Brooke for par here at 13.
And I think when we talk about Brooke, she seems to just find a way to get it done.
I think that is a great statement, Karen, because that is so much about the kind of golfer she is. If she's not playing real well, she works, grinds, and figures it out. And if she is playing real well, she's got that ability to go low.
Well, Celine Herbin was just, maybe an inch or 2 away from holding her second shot, Gail, now for birdie.
And close enough that they had to have official Sue Witters come in and fix the hole.
Okay.
This one just 3 feet.
All right. Well done. You may have seen her race to the CME Globe number 106. The money list in the race to the CME Globe can be a little bit different. Points are awarded a little more weighted at the major championships, so those 2 lists aren't always identical. Lincecum with a chance now to get to 9 under.
And she's coming in directly over the spot where Celine's ball damaged the hole, but Sue Witters did a nice gardening job to make it nice and flat. Two good birdies there. 25
putts on the day for Brittany Lincecum, with Back-to-back par fives coming up. She is now just 2 shots off the lead. To the tee at the par 3 14th, and our leader by 1, Brooke Henderson.
Just playing 152 yards today. So much of this is about where you want the ball to pitch. If you pitch it short, it's going to land on a little downslope and take it to the hole. If you land it just beyond the hole, it should stop fairly quickly.
Quite a generous hole location today. There's really good reason to think you should get the ball close.
And this is an 8-iron on the way for Brooke. Just caught a little gust of wind.
Looked away immediately, knew the strike wasn't what she wanted. The wind didn't help. Her lead is 1. She'll be scrambling for par at the 14th. Angela Stanford tying for the best round of the day. Brooke Henderson looking for her 7th career victory, has the lead by 1. Day 3 of the Marathon Classic. She's going to run down the fairway, but if she does.
Sit, 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 sit.
Oh, it has become a tradition of the Marathon Classic for players and caddies to race down the 14th. Our cameramen, Dan Roach and Kurt Miller, made a run at it. I think Kurt's chute deployed halfway down. That was just a moment ago. You know, Brooke Henderson began playing golf at age 3, Karen, and she thought the goal was to get the ball in the hole fastest, and so she would pick it up and run down the fairway as quickly as she could. She's got a second shot here.
And I don't blame her for not trying to run to keep up with those two, because they were doing that with heavy cameras on their shoulders.
I'd say.
And Kurt has a pretty big stride too. He's got some long legs.
He might have Dan by just a year or two also.
And that one ran past. Good 4.5, 5 feet. So Brooke will have that to stay in front by 1. Here's Catherine Perry with, as you see, 166 in the race to the CME Globe. This could be an enormous week for a second-year player.
That's a couple of times we've seen her make a good putt at the 18th.
3 rounds in the 60s on this par 71, -8 for the North Carolina Tar Heel. Back we go to the par 3 14th, and Caroline Headwall could use a putt to drop, Karen.
She could. She's missed a few short ones just on the last few. She said this is the part of her game that she's been struggling with.
Boy, that was a good putt.
NCAA champion from back in 2010 at Oklahoma State, the Swede. 3 over par today. Now 5 shots back. Let's go ahead to the 17.
Yeah, Christina Kim for birdie here at the par 5. Under on her round today. Oh, she just misread that one.
She's had a couple of chances.
She sure has. 15, missed a very makeable one. Back to 14.
Well, I said 3.5, 4 feet, maybe 5 feet, Karen, for par.
Yeah, it did get that little bit extra rollout. And I don't blame her for being aggressive with it. She's put in some really good chips. Feeling quite confident in that department. And I always think it's a good thing to see a player, you know, getting the ball to the hole, getting it past the hole. It shows a sign of confidence. And it also, not only in that chip, but within the putt coming back as well. I think that if you're not scared about a putt coming back, it can make all the difference.
Not a lot in this, is there, Karen?
No, there really isn't. If anything, maybe just left inside, but I wouldn't want to give the hole away.
She did. And that will be her 3rd bogey of the day, 2 on par 3s.
That's a bad bogey with an 8-iron in your hand.
And she is now tied for the lead with Angela Stanford.
Well, she's got some good holes ahead to recover from that, but that's one she will be talking to herself about.
The Stars are out at the Constellation Senior Players Championship at Exmoor Club in the Chicagoland area. We've got coverage coming your way when we are done here a little over an hour from now. Jeff Maggart is currently in the lead. So with the bogey at 14, Henderson is now tied with Stanford. How about Daniela Darquea? She shot 75 on day 1. The first player ever from Ecuador, the rookie on tour. First full season on tour. Shot 64 yesterday, including a hole-in-one, and a 66 today.
And you never know when a week like that for a rookie player or someone who hasn't really been in the mix, when just 1 week like that makes everything click.
Could be a career changer, couldn't it?
Yeah, all of a sudden, you know, they become a player. It's different for some players. Our Brooke Henderson, who's up there this week, you know, she played in a lot of LPGA events before she turned pro. She was pretty experienced already when she came out here. In fact, she made the cut in 6 of 8 LPGA events before she turned professional.
Caroline Headwall now on the tee at the 15th. Little dog leg to the right.
It is, and she's been hitting this driver really well, but does need to keep it down the right side of this fairway.
She started on the right side of the tee. Telling me she's trying to cut it.
And it is fading, and this should be pretty perfect.
Yep.
Oh yeah, she pounded it too.
Sure did. Good angle to come in there. Now Brooke hits it from right to left, Karen, and this is just a little bit of an awkward tee shot.
Well, and I think she's just a little bit off rhythm at the moment. They have been told a couple of times by the rules officials to try and pick up the pace. There was a bit of a tough incident for these two on the 9th tee. There was a young gentleman standing by there that just passed out because of the heat, hit his head on the ground, and they had to wait a little bit of time for that to be resolved with some paramedics to come out. And ever since then, they've been behind a little bit, and I think that the rules officials are now trying to chase them, trying to make them pick up a little bit more time.
That started left and continued left. Yeah, I felt like that was a little bit of an awkward. That nestles down, and that whole location's on that back left side, so tough second shot.
Third shot at the par 5 18th, 10 Mile Creek. Winds in front of this 18th, or really right down the middle of it, and winds all the way over to Sylvania Country Club.
Is that 10 miles?
Well, it's a long 10-mile creek. Yes. I haven't stepped it off, but here's the third shot for IK.
Yeah, and it is straight up.
She judged the downhill 16th pretty well. Oh, a defending champion's bounce. That stays up at least.
Well, it should not be terribly difficult up and down, but
let's go to 17.
Yeah, Brittany Lincecum's third here at the par 5, Gail.
And 111 to the hole, which you don't normally expect Brittany to have 111 on her third shot on a par 5, but had some tree trouble off the tee. Hit a beautiful hybrid to this position. And a great angle in here.
This whole location's back left, and it has held. Should be able to spin it. Yep.
Nicely done.
Absolutely. That's a great touch. Usually you don't see the long hitters able to do that, but wonderful touch for Brittany Lincecum with a good chance for birdie. Two-way tie at the top of the lead.
Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour welcome you back to Sylvania, Ohio, just a few miles north of downtown Toledo, just a couple of miles south of the Michigan-Ohio border. It's the Marathon Classic presented by Owens Corning and OI. Grant Boone, Judy Rankin, Gail Graham, Karen Snuffles, and Jim Gallagher.
Karen, this is an interesting shot here at the 15th for Brooke.
Well, she has no direct line to go at the flag. She's got trees that are about 5 feet high just ahead of her. She's got to keep it down below those. There's a bunker in front. And this is
got over it.
Impressive.
Yeah, I'd say. And got well back into her stance, and that is a wonderful shot. Not easy to do that. Got to have some strength to get it through that rough and to keep it low.
No wonder she's third in greens in regulation. No idea how she found it there. Fourth shot just a moment ago for IK Kim at 18. She's just a shot off the lead. But, she will not be able to bogey. birdie, rather, the 18th. She'll have that for par. Mirim Lee, who was in a playoff here a couple of years ago with Ariya Jutanugarn and the eventual winner Lydia Ko with a birdie there. She gets to 8 under par. The Web.com Tour is in Utah this week for the Utah Championship. Cameron Champ, an impressive youngster out of Texas A&M. In the lead heading into round 3, Steve Burkowski, Craig Perks, and our crew there tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We have Jeff Maggart, A&M, Jim at the Constellation Seniors. Got Cameron Champ, generation behind him. Here's IK for par at the 18th.
And at this moment, we have 11 players within 2 of the lead.
Oh boy. Third shot comes up short, can't get up and down, and a bogey for IK Kim. She'll fall back into a tie for 4th. She was 2 back when the final round started. Last year, shot 63 and came from behind to beat Nelly Corda.
Lincecum for birdie and to share the lead.
Just needs to keep this inside the hole. Might wiggle a little to her left.
5th birdie of the day with a bogey, so Lincecum with a nice birdie at the par 5 17th. Did it with her wedge this time. 3-way tie now, 10 under, and she still has the par 5 18th to play with her length. Could bring Eagle into play. She'll take 4 though. The 15th hole, Brooke Henderson with a long chance for birdie, but a wonderful shot she hit, Karen, from where she had it off the tee.
And really quite amazing, this has to be one of the biggest greens on this golf course. And because it's so big, there are a number of undulations that she's going to have to negotiate. It's going to go down at first, up a little bit, then back down towards the hole. And where the hole's sitting, it's kind of in a little bowl. And it should move to the left. It's from about 5 feet out.
Yeah, as you said, it's kind of like an upside down saucer at the very front. The front part of the green goes away, and right through the middle, I'm going to say about 15 feet short of the hole is a spine. She said then it comes down. It's all about judging the speed, more or less. Right about there, it should start going downhill. That needs to get down. Not horrible. Still has a little bit of left for her par.
Jim, Brooke is just a couple away from tying the great Sandra Post for the most wins by a Canadian player. George Knudsen won 8 times on the PGA Tour. Mike Weir, of course, won the Masters. Among his 8 victories, Brooke Henderson won the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. Brooke is now tied for the lead.
And I think even if it does go, it's only going halfway down the hill, and then you're a downslope hit to an elevated green.
Let's
when
listen
you
in.
can probably get there with a 4 or a hybrid. And you can take, so it's 288 through on that middle, helping win. I mean, this could go in the bunker, though. I'd rather do that with a 3-wood with a chance that it, I mean, if it goes, the driver definitely. Down the water of the drop? Yeah. Stand in there.
Love the conversation. That gives them the opportunity to really talk through the shot. Hit the right one. Brittany's ball striking has not been that good today.
The right-hand bunker is in the neighborhood of 290 off that back portion of the tee.
And she hit it about 288 there, Judy.
Looking at the ball 2 yards inside the right edge.
She relies a lot on Missy, doesn't she?
Yeah, she has Missy reaffirm things to her all the time, and she seems to need that relationship on the golf course.
Yeah, that's part of the it's part psychologist, part of being a caddy. Now Brooke for par at 15.
And it would be a pretty spectacular par if she should be able to make this one. I don't think there's a great deal in this one. She of course would have seen the ball as it rolls past the hole for her first putt, but this one, just think about that follow through.
That is a solid, that is a wonderful 4. Actually, give her about 50-50 chance where she drove it without having to get it up and down. So she'll take 4 and go to the 16th. Jackie Concolino, her third here at the par 5. The 17th hole location we know on that back left. Everybody's been able to hold it, so she can fly it all the way back there currently. -8. Just 2 back. Birdie go a long way. Okay, it took a bad kick, but it worked.
All right, so you have a 3-way tie for the lead, and you've got 7 or 8 tied there at -8, including Caroline Inglis. You see her at the bottom of that page, 2 shots off the lead.
That hole's just 7 paces off the front of the green, and from this angle, it's even less green to work with.
I think she made the right strike there, did she?
Yep.
Okay, par 5.
Hit it
Still a
heavy.
chance. Yeah. Again, playing late on the weekend on television, very different scenario. We're at the par 4 16th. Judy, take us through it.
Yeah, I think this is a really fun 400-yard par 4. The bunker on the left is about a 230-yard carry, but this upper fairway is the upper plateau, and you want to get the ball as deep in the fairway as you can, and you play right down to a green that is well below where you've put your shot from the tee. The hole today at 16 is 11 paces on and tucked on the left side of the green, which gives you the whole fairway to work with. If that hole is tucked on the right side, the right half of the fairway, almost puts you unable to get the ball to the hole location.
If you're not familiar with watching Brooke Henderson, gripping down is how she does it all the time.
Well, and the interesting part is her driver is 48 inches, but by the way she grips it down, she actually makes it more of a standard length driver.
Yeah.
Now, nice par save for Henderson at the 15th. She is in a 3-way tie for the lead. Round 3 of 4 at the Marathon.
Top right edge of that.
Now in a three-way tie for the lead, Brittany Lincecum, second shot at the par 5 18th.
210 to the front edge, 217 to the hole, 4 hybrid. Perfect angle. And a pretty good line.
Oh. That may run off a bit.
I tell you, that should have been a little bit better than that. It is really tough to get that ball on the green. If you don't fly it over the corner and land it on the putting surface, everything kicks to the right, or you have to really turn a hook into it, and then you can't stop it.
Caroline Inglis made her par up ahead of Brittany Lincecum at the 18th, so Inglis finishes at -8. Brooke Henderson conferring with sister Brittany. 16.
Ball is slightly above her feet, and anything short of right of this whole location would be perfect. The ball should stop. I suspect at the yardage that Brittany has 126. I haven't had a club signal. She's going to be a bit in between a pitching wedge and a 9-iron, but because the ball's above her feet, I would think that the 9-iron would be the play, just a more of a smoother swing.
– 20 feet, but she didn't like it.
We'll call it a good miss.
She'll have that to take the lead. Let's move ahead to the 17th.
Yeah, Concolino for her birdie here at 17, 88th in putts per greens in regulation this year. Just to get within 1. Oh, it's a dead pull. So good opportunity missed here at the 17th. Back up to 18.
And we have a second shot for
right. I like starting it off at that.
Celine Turbin.
You know, just trust it. You know, visualize a really good song.
Just trust it. That's some great advice. 213 yards to the hole. Similar line as Brittany had.
She doesn't have a stat anywhere on the list that is in the top 100. So she has been playing pretty well of late, and maybe she's learning how to improve those stats.
She's been very consistent in her ball striking all day, Judy.
Started that one left, have to cut it.
It is cutting in very high.
Another
big bounce.
That could stay. That's very
okay.
makeable, isn't it?
That's okay, and that's a pretty darn good shot.
She has not broken 70 on the weekend yet this season, and that there is a discrepancy between her early round scoring and late, and that's accounted for some in the statistics that you mentioned, not being particularly high. Well, Karen Brooke didn't like the strike, but she'll have a putt for birdie here in just a second. Let's take a look at, as Brooke tries to win for the second time this year, the other multiple winners. H. Tonagarn won in Kingsmill in a playoff, then won the U.S. Women's Open in a playoff. Sunghyun Park won the weather-shortened event in North Texas, 36-hole event, and then she outlasted So-Yeon Yu and Nasa Hataoka at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. So Brooke could become the third multiple winner. She won at the Lotte, and she rallied from some struggles in the third round on Friday in that Saturday finish event. Here's Headwall, Karen.
And she's hit a couple of iffy shots. This one was very poorly judged distance-wise. I think she was expecting it to be land a bit short and spin back to the hole. She hit a great drive and was in good position, but this is what happens when you're trying to find your game again. She was such an impressive player before she got injured. She's starting to feel more comfortable where she needs to be.
Didn't quite have the thump that you were listening for.
And it's just things can escalate quite quickly if you're not firing on all cylinders.
And that happens so easily when you've been fighting the demons, or trying to get back to where you used to be, or trying to climb up to where you want to be. It is so easy in golf to be of a mindset that, oh my gosh, here we go again.
She's an NCAA champion from back in 2010, and she's the only player in the history of the Solheim Cup to go 5-0-0 as she helped the Euros win on American soil for the first time. Here's another NCAA champion. It's Emma Talley.
And a USAM champion. Emma Talley's third here at the par 5 17th, currently -8, 1 under on her round today. Now, just short side yourself there. You just don't have a whole lot, and that nestles into that first cut of rough. So made the mistake by missing it left here at the par 5. Let's go back up to 18.
Gail, what can you tell us about this third shot for Brittany Lincecum as she tries to not fall down there?
Well, the good news is she's got a fair amount of green to work with. It's going to jump a little left when it hits the green, go back to the right a little bit, and then flatten out as it gets to the hole. She left it in a really good position, actually, and I hesitate to say it's makeable, but it's aren't they all?
She'll have that for birdie to take the lead on this par 5. That was her third shot. Trying to win for the 9th time on the LPGA Tour, and next week she'll tee it up on the PGA Tour at the Barbasol Championship just outside Lexington, Kentucky. And we've got coverage beginning Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And before Brittany putts for birdie, here's Brooke for birdie at 16.
And it's another one of the putts, even though she wasn't overly happy with the shot into the green, she's left herself in not a bad spot. She can putt uphill, and if anything, it wants to move left, which I think would be her preferred direction.
Tied with Headwall when the day started at 9 under. Now tied with Angela Stanford, who's finished, and Brittany Lincecum, who has about 6 feet for birdie at 18. Four birdies, all on the front. But you have 17 and 18, those closing par 5s. Celine Herbin has an eagle attempt from off the green as she one-eyes this look.
And a little right to left swing, actually a pretty good right to left swing in the first 10 or 12 feet of this putt. And then downhill to the hole as it straightens out.
Got a chance.
Oh. Celine has been working with the brother of Seve Ballesteros, Vicente, on her swing and seeing a lot of promise in the last few weeks. Again, good starts, good rounds within a tournament. She's having trouble putting 3 or 4 days together. But she is going to break 70 on the weekend for the first time this season. Bit of a late bloomer, but a chance to blossom tomorrow. 2 shots off the lead.
Yes, this is her third just a few moments ago. Here at the par 5 17th, currently -7. 1 over on her round. A couple players, she and Headwall are over par in the top 30, but that will help. That's a good shot. This is Emma Talley for birdie to get within 1. It's sometimes tough to judge how to come out of here. Try to get as much putter on the ball. Needs to break right. Go in, she says. It does. Nice. Emma Talley continuing her good play. 3 birdies on that back 9 after that bogey at 7.
A 3-way tie for the lead at 10 under. Brittany Lincecum could break out of it with this birdie putt here at 18.
Not a whole lot of movement to this. A little further away than she wanted it to be, though. And her misses today with the putts have kind of been to the left, so not the greatest ball striking round, but I'm sure she'll be happy with her position.
When that second shot was in the air at 18, I think she had to be thinking she'd have a good look at eagle. It bounced to the right, couldn't get up and down. 17.
Yeah, I made her birdie at 17, now up on the right side of the tee, trying to draw this, Karen. Brooke.
Well, she does, and you've got to keep it down that left side. With this being a dogleg left, the trees come into play, and she's done just that.
Yeah, somebody likes it in the background. Yeah.
Well, they should.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's had a few powder puff drives recently, but that one I don't think was. I think that was pretty hammered.
Yeah, I think since the 14th, kind of missed some iron shots. Just been a little bit off with that, but that'll get her back in the right trail.
Lincecum for par.
Still around a 4 under par, and you know, you walk away and you know you left a few out there on the golf course, but you're in the mix.
And before she goes to tee it up with the men on the PGA Tour, she'll have a chance at a 9th career victory on the LPGA Tour. She's tied for the lead. Well, you've got proven winners at the top of the leaderboard. Henderson, Lincecum, Stanford all have won at least 5 times. Emma Talley looking for her first victory. We got Jennifer Kupcho, the NCAA champion from May, a rising senior at Wake Forest with a chance to become a rare amateur winner on the LPGA Tour. Caroline Inglis in her first full year. Jackie Concolino looking for her first victory. And Brittany Lincecum tied for the lead is with Gail Graham.
She's being very friendly and giving me a little height advantage here by jumping down a little bit. Nice round today. 67, maybe not the best ball striking round.
Yeah, you know, it was a little squirrely there for a minute. This golf course is sneaky tight. You know, I don't get to hit very many drivers, but even the 3-woods and the hybrids off the tee, like, you have to keep it in play, and there's a few holes out there that I just pray I get through with a par, and then we try to birdie the others.
And we saw you hit a lot of, not a lot of, but a few chips around the greens where you seem to use the same club every time. Now, explain that for me.
You know, every offseason I swear I'm going to learn how to chip and be a more rounded player, learn how to chip with the sand wedge, the pitching wedge, the bump and runs, and it just never happens. So I literally use my lob wedge everywhere, whether it's 30 yards or whatever. Like, I love that club.
So is this course a good setup for you to be preparing for next week?
Absolutely not. I think I only get to hit 3 drivers out here, but you definitely have to keep it straight and in play. So if anything, I'm working on consistency and hitting my targets. And when I do miss a few greens, it's fun to try to get it up and down because I'm sure that'll happen a few times next week.
Well, great. We know it will, maybe. Anyway, have a great day tomorrow. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks.
You know what happened to her being a more well-rounded chipper, don't you? She went fishing.
Inside that bunker.
17.
Yeah, Brooks' second shot here at the par 5.
She's got quite a long way to go to the front, like just 242 yards to the front. That's 260 to the hole. But with the way Brooke hits her 3-wood, now she'll aim a bit to the right, she'll pull it left. She's able to get a bit more distance out of it than I think most people believe, and sometimes even she does. Well, she has to rely on a bit of roll, and this actually is not pulling left, it's fading.
This is a new 3-wood, and it in fact is, as she told me, almost a 2-wood.
Yeah, a lot of them go with stronger.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in modern game. It goes with about a 13.5 degree loft. It turns almost into a 2-wood. 3-way tie, top of the leaderboard, Marathon Classic. Back at the Marathon Classic in the 17th hole, Brooke Henderson left her second shot just short into the rough, but I think that's a pretty good lead compared to that bunker, Karen, with as much green as she has to work with.
You would think so, absolutely. I mean, the bunker, typically players prefer bunker shots because they know exactly what the ball's going to do from them. This lie, I don't think she's going to be able to judge this as well as she'd like. It's one of the few that I've seen that has sat all the way down at the bottom. The ground is really firm underneath. And yet where she is, the grass is so lush and actually very sticky because it's maintained quite a bit of shade from the trees, so it hasn't dried out properly like a lot of the other spots around the course has. It's not going to be easy for her to judge, and I think she has to plan on this releasing. But when you do that, it can sometimes come out a bit fluffy.
Yeah, the key to this, Karen, is acceleration through.
Exactly. She's playing it quite far back, almost off her right toe.
That should come out and release with that. That is well played. Excellent. As you said, so tough to judge, but you're right. This ground's gotten firm, but right there, maybe not as much as some, but she did a wonderful job at that. Take another look at this, takes the club nice and outside. Breaks the wrist right here and drops it right down on top. And look at the acceleration through. Club face open. Swinging textbook right there. Head wall, her third here at the 17th.
Just had a club adjustment. Because of that upslope, she went to a club that had less loft.
Oh, my, is that any good?
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, 4 bogeys on her card. That'll help. And she's got another par 5 to play, so she can kind of rally here. Salvage the day. Hadn't been a very good one, but
nice rally for Jackie Concolino. She is looking for a 3rd birdie on the back 9 to get to 9 under. 136th career event, 7th season on the LPGA Tour. 3 rounds in the 60s, and she is just 1 off the lead. Brittany Lincecum tied for the lead at 10 under. She'll be playing at the Barbasol Championship next week on the PGA Tour. The other event for the men next week, perhaps you've heard of it, the Open. As the world's greatest golfers vie for the claret jug and the right to be called Champion Golfer of the Year. The Open begins Thursday. Judy, set your alarm, 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time. How many did you cover?
Well, I'll get up at midnight Central Time.
That's true.
Right?
Over in Midland, it's 12:30.
You know, I did my first Open Championship in 1989, and I said goodbye in 2015 at St. Andrews. It was one of the great treats of my life.
absolutely. You're wonderful doing it as well. Now, head wall for her first birdie of the day.
I always enjoyed listening to you, Judy, when you were covering that, and it was, you know, for my part, if you'll excuse me, that was very much an inspiration for me, knowing the potential that women have of getting into this industry that we're both in now.
Well, thank you, and I might tell you all that Karen will be covering it this next week for BBC Radio.
It's going to be a whole different thing.
Oh my, quick with the backstroke again.
She's
I don't know, but I don't think she was pleased. I'm not going to go there.
And you know what? I don't blame her for not being pleased.
No.
She just needs to develop a little bit of rhythm in that stroke.
Yeah, just short back. The ones she's missed have been really short.
You know, I've started to watch players who get a little jicky with the putter and this and that, and that's the word, the only word I know, a little jicky.
Jicky?
And,
is that Swedish?
No, maybe it is. Maybe I've learned that.
It's like the heebie-jeebies.
I don't know, but I think one thing that, and if you're at home and that's a little bit of your problem, try this. Don't stand over the ball so long. Don't let yourself get so still and then just not move for so long. You're better off to set the putter down, get your line, and putt. I think that frozen look sort of breeds quick strokes and nerves.
Well said. Henderson for birdie and to take the lead.
Brooke, every once in a while, can do just that too, Judy. She can freeze sometimes over the putts, but when she's confident, she just goes right ahead, last look, and then putts.
That's why she's fifth in scoring in par fives on the LPGA. So breaks out of that logjam, takes a one-shot lead going to the 18th with her length. Really good opportunity to extend that lead.
All right, Tadapa Suwanapura and now Gail watching the 25-year-old from Thailand.
And she just want to land it on the green, let it roll out.
Tadapa Suwanapura. Best finish, Kingsmill, where her countrywoman, Ariage Tanagarn, won earlier this year. 7th year on the LPGA. 25 years old, 7th year. That's these days on the LPGA Tour.
It's more and more becoming the norm. That's right.
We talk about these NCAA champions. So many players are foregoing college. Brooke Henderson, one of them. A lot of strategy to this reachable but awkward par 5 18th, isn't there?
Well, there is. It seems to me the place to put it is just short of that big right-hand bunker that you see at the top of your screen. And what you do that with, it would seem like 3-wood is the club driver maybe for some players. But then the second shot is so tricky because it has to be high and over the front left bunker and carry on the green, or you've got to whip a hook at this green that sits diagonally to the player.
Karen, she went 3-wood yesterday, laid well back. She's got the driver here.
Well, and I think because it was so far back, the difference in distance between her driver and her 3-wood is quite extreme. Probably the reason why she tried to go to a less lofted 3-wood. But for her with this club, she does have to concern herself with running through into that bunker. It is 290 yards to run through. And that was a bit puffy.
We've had Jicky and what was that? Puffy?
Puffy.
Okay. It's in the fairway and it avoids a divot hole.
By the way, it's a terrible combination.
If you get Jicky and Puffy within a couple of holes. She leads it by 1 after the birdie at 17. Leading the field in birdies, Tidapa Suwanapura looking for another one here, Gail.
Just about 4.5 feet. Ooh. It's unfortunate after some good shots on this hole.
Needed just 23 putts on Thursday in taking the outright lead after 18 holes with a 65. Even par 71. Henderson with a birdie at 17. She's in the fairway, ready to hit her second shot at the par 5, 18th. She leads Brittany Lincecum and Angela Stanford by 1. Time for our Sam Dessous refreshing round of the day. It belongs to Angela Stanford at the 15th for birdie. That was her third birdie in 4 holes. And then at the 18th, after a third shot that she wasn't crazy about.
Yeah, this was an important putt for the final round.
You could see it in her face and in that fist pump. A 6 under par 65. It is our refreshing round of the day brought to you by Sam Dessous. One pairing left. Brooke Henderson, Caroline Headwall, and Karen, we're looking at Brooke and Brittany sizing up the second shot.
Yardage-wise, I think she could get somewhere close to the front of this green. She's got
Just be aware of it. Sitting down.
234.
Yes. The red square. Yeah, I agree with the OI. Anything on the right is an easy up and down. The bunker, not right there. The bunker on the right. Is it not right there? Yeah. I mean, it's like 213 to carry, but if you can't see it, so you know, like where you're. You know what I mean? You're good. Yeah.
She was talking about the yardage to carry the bunker, which is short and right, and I think she's given her more yardage than there actually is. I think it's less to carry that bunker than her sister has given her.
That's good.
This one started right drawing. That's going to leave her in a nice spot.
Does anyone go for par fives in 2 more than Brooke on the LPGA Tour? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
No, she's got a lot of confidence in her long game.
And in her ability to get it up and down if she does miss the green in 2. Well, Caroline Headwall has had a tough day. And Karen, you said it, it's been the putter. And quite frankly, that's been the issue with her in her professional career, hasn't it?
Well, it has been, but she got a fantastic break off the tee shot. Landed in between the 2 bunkers, bounced out to this point, giving herself just 215 to the hole. Does not need her 3-wood. This is very high and is going towards the front edge of the green.
Had a really nice pitch with her 3rd shot at the par 5 17th. Missed the short putt. Brooke Henderson leads it by 1, and she's got a 3rd at the par 5 coming up.
Yeah, it's definitely down a little, but I thought maybe I stopped.
Brooke Henderson began this 3rd round of the Marathon Classic tied with Caroline Headwall at 9 under. Her lead has been as many as 3. She fell into a tie a couple of holes ago. She's now got the lead back and a chance to add to it. A 3rd shot coming up at the par 5 18th. And Karen Stupples has been walking alongside her all day. Karen?
And it's been an interesting round, this back nine, because I really feel like Brooke could be at least 5 or 6 shots in the lead right now. She's had a lot of opportunities, lots of chances, and she's had a couple of bogeys where, you know, come from surprising situations.
You like that shot? Yeah. Okay.
This shot that she's facing now, she can land it into a little upslope to kill some of the speed from it. It's visually.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. It's pretty fast and I think. Yeah, once it gets over that pitch, it's the hole.
Karen Harkamaview is really good from behind her, and we could see the upslope you're referring to.
It is quite visually intimidating too, Judy, because just beyond the hole, it looks like it wants to fall away quite quickly. And the tendency in the player's mind is to think, oh no, don't chip it over the green.
Well, I think she carried it just past the upslope.
Yeah.
Well, that will count as a green in regulation. She missed only 4 greens the first 2 days. She was 12 of 18 in greens in regulation today. Evidence of what Karen was talking about. Well, a very disappointing Saturday. Could get a little better here for Caroline Headwall if she could get up and down here.
Looks like she's going to have an interesting way to try to do it.
It is, and I think when I mean, this is the newest green on the golf course. It's still settling in. It's a little bit firmer than some of the others. And I think players find that somewhat intimidating to chip to. And these fairways are so smooth. And I think Caroline feels very comfortable with this club, and judging by that,
really good.
And that will be for her first birdie of the day. Began the day tied with Henderson at 9 under. Now she's in a tie for 29th. She'll finish up here. Her 32nd putt of the day yields her first birdie. She kind of got that frustration out of her system. 74, 3 over. Now Brooke Henderson for birdie, and a 2-shot lead going into the final round tomorrow.
and this is very awkward. It goes up at the start, back down towards the hole, and reading it is not easy. I believe it wants to go to the right, and she wouldn't really have got a great read as the ball went past the hole, because it was going with probably too much speed for her to see a good line as it was trundling past.
That's a pretty tricky putt to make.
It really is. But we talk so much, Judy, about how much heart Brooke Henderson has, and I think that is the intangible that you can't teach anybody, that she has in spades.
Just over the horizon, here it comes for birdie. It's just an awkward par 5. I enjoy it. If you hit 2 perfect shots, you have a chance at eagle, but birdie is no gimme, is it?
No, and you know, even the tee shot isn't simple. If the tee's up a little bit, you can catch the slope and take it all the way down just short of the creek. If the tee's not up a little bit, the bunkers on the left kind of tease you and want you to fly the ball over them, but not everybody can do that. The right-hand bunker is in play off the tee for a lot of players with their driver. It's a big-time thinking hole.
Some of the best tee shots we've seen have been ones after lucky bounces. Caroline Headwall was a bit fortunate. So 3 rounds in the 60s for Brooke. It's going to be the 5th time in her young career that she has taken the lead into the final round after 3 days. And she's converted 3 of those previous 4 into victories. Brittany Lincecum will play on the PGA Tour next week. Tied for second with Angela Stanford, who shot 65. Tied for the low round of the day. Great looking leaderboard through 54 holes. We've got more from the Marathon Classic in a moment. Today's coverage is brought to you by Marathon, fueling the American spirit. Volvic Vivid, the world's best-selling matte finish golf balls. Volunteers of America, helping America's most vulnerable. And by Prudential, official financial services provider of the LPGA. Time for our Kia shot of the day. Take you back to the par 5 18th and Mina Haragai for Eagle. Former Hub Links champ, California. Mina Haragai with an Eagle 3 at the 18th. Our Kia shot of the day. She's tied for 16th. And Brooke Henderson leads it by 1 after a 69 birdie the 17th to take the lead. Brittany Lincecum and Angela Stanford, Solheim Cup teammates so many years, tied for second place. Let's send it down to Karen Stupples.
Thanks, Grant. Had the pleasure of watching you play today. How are you able to play this type of golf consistently, playing as many events as you do?
Yeah, I love to play a lot of golf, and this week, things have been clicking for me a little bit better than normal, and I'm just excited to see my name at the top of the leaderboard. I would have liked to play a little bit better today, but I'm happy to still be in the top spot and hopefully just make a lot of birdies tomorrow.
We all talk about your heart when you're playing tournaments. Where do you feel that comes from, and how does that help you playing on Sundays?
I think you need it if you're gonna win championships and if you're gonna shoot low scores, and especially when you hit it in spots where I hit it today. You kind of need to bounce back really quickly and just grind it out as best you can and just try to do the best you can all the time.
Well, brilliant, Brooke. Thanks for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool indeed. Looking for another signature victory. Brooke Henderson leads it by 1. These are her 6 victories. She won as a Monday qualifier there in Portland. Won the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, then at Portland again. And you see that she won the Lotte Championship. That was back in April. And Judy, as I recall, we were saying there that week, it was a Saturday finish. We said after the third round Friday, boy, she really could be leading by a lot more than she is. She came back and she sealed the deal in that final round on Saturday.
Yeah, that's been the case with her a lot. When you watch her play, you always think she left a couple out there. But the fact is, she's a dogged competitor. And I think it'll be very interesting to watch her tomorrow. Very interesting to watch Brittany Lincecum with what she has coming up next week. But the one I really have my eye on that hasn't won in a very long time and has been playing some pretty darn good golf is Angela Stanford.
Playing with a heavy heart as well as her mom battles cancer.
Her mom has battled cancer successfully, and now it is back. So she has got a lot on her mind, but I just hope everyone plays well tomorrow. But for Angela Stanford, I think it would be the most special day of all.
You may be right. This is going to be a huge day for someone. You had a lot of players on that first page of the leaderboard who have not won yet.
Well, there's a lot of stories going on, and there are a lot of people who are still contending. We just gave you a little snapshot of those first 3.
Can't wait to see. We got Jennifer Kupcho, the NCAA champion, trying to become a rare amateur winner on the LPGA Tour. Hasn't happened since Lydia Ko in 2013. By the way, shout out to Dame Laura Davies, who's having a fine week at the U.S. Senior Women's Open. A winner here 30 years ago.
She shot 66 today, folks, and she has a 5-shot lead over Julie Inkster.
And a shout out to our own Kay Cockrell, who made the cut with a clutch birdie at the 17th yesterday. Brooke Henderson leads it by 1. Lincecum, who will play on the PGA Tour next week, has a chance to win for a second time on the LPGA Tour this season. Could Caroline Inglis or the young Ecuadorian Daniela Darquea win for the first time? Celine Herbin has been playing well. Titapa Suwanapura, another of those looking for a first victory. Could Caroline Headwall, after a frustrating day but a birdie at 18, could she right the ship and make a run? Charlie Hull makes birdies by the boatload. So does Brooke Henderson. Henderson with a victory already this year, looking for a second this season, and looking for a 7th in her young career. Final round coverage comes your way tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time from right here at Highland Meadows, which has had such a great history hosting the world's best women golfers. Jennifer Kupcho, defending champ IK Kim. It's a race to the finish of the marathon. Who's got the best finishing kick? Thanks to everyone who made it happen today. Jim Gallagher Jr., Karen Stupples, Gail Graham, Judy Rankin. I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the LPGA Tour on Golf Channel.